So this is the fourth video of the four-part series about me talking about the IEMs that I owned and that I personally own and what do I think about them. Now in this part we are going to talk about two main things. One of them is going to be the unique IEMs that I've owned. It's the non-regular IEMs, if you might say that. And the IEMs that has some sentimental value to me. So it's not the best. It's not going to be the best IEMs that I've owned at a different price range. Maybe that would be on another video, but it's going to be the IEMs that changed me, somewhat of a eye-opener, or IEMs that have a huge influence in my audiophile journey. It's quite difficult talking about my overall audiophile journey without talking about headphones, because they obviously play a huge part in my journey. But I might talk about headphones occasionally in this video, but mostly I'm going to talk about IEMs that I have on this table right here. Some IEMs that are actually both unique and have sentimental value to me also is on this table. A few IEMs that I've talked about in the previous videos, which are the IER Z1R, the EX1000, the ZS10 Pros, are probably not going to be talked about in terms of sound quality, but more of a how all of them play a part in the huge story that I'm going to tell. So it's going to be a long video. It's going to be a story time video. But yeah, I hope you can enjoy it. I don't know how this channel turned out into a story time channel or something. So yeah, the first unique IEM that I'm going to talk about is this. It's actually an IEM that was recommended to me by a reviewer. No, not by a reviewer, by a subscriber. I'm sorry, by a subscriber. It's Fail Poppy. I don't know how to pronounce the name. Fail, F-A-A-E-A-L, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It's Fail Poppy. It's, to be honest, it's not the most terrible IEM that I've ever heard. It's better than the also from Fail Rosa that I've mentioned before, I guess, in previous videos. It's not as bad as that, but it's not good either. The only good thing that I can say about this IEM is, I guess, this is a very cheap IEM. This is a very budget IEM. It's about $10 if I'm not mistaken. It's about 10-ish, $10 to $15, like $12 at a price range of the TRN MT1s, I guess. But the TRN MT1 smokes this and for sound quality, definitely. It's not a very pleasant sounding IEM. I think it's a bit lacking in upper mid range. And yeah, it's not a very good sounding IEM. However, the build quality here is impeccable. I think it's better than the Quarks. The build quality is better than the Quarks. It's better than the MT1. It's made out of metal, so yeah, it's actually a very beautiful looking IEM. I don't know if you can actually see how clean the build is on this IEM. It's very pleasant, actually, the build. However, I don't really like it for the sound, but yeah, it's actually at least they are well built. Anyway, I also get a few ear tips with them also. It's a few pairs of ear tips, and the ear tips are actually pretty good, to be completely honest. But Yeah, if I'm going to buy an IEM for its build quality and its ear tips, yeah, I don't buy IEMs with that. But maybe I guess it, yeah. The next unique IEM is going to be this. And the thing about this is I don't know what the fuck is this. Because this has no brand at all. The guy who sold me these didn't know what the hell this thing is. I've seen IEMs built like this before. It's full resin. It's not hollow. It's solid resin. If you can listen to, let me get this closer. Yeah, fully solid resin. It has a single dynamic driver in there. It sounds awfully bassy. It's bass. It's filled with bass. The mids and the treble, if you actually reduce the bass, is not actually that bad. However, I actually bought these IEMs because the seller paired these IEMs with the KB ear cable. So I actually wanted just to buy the cable, and he just like, hey, you'll get this IEM with the exact same price as just buying the cable. Like, this IEM is just like a bonus. It sounds okay if you can get these for under $10, but yeah, I think you can just buy the MH755 instead. So it's a very beautiful IEM. Also, it's very well built. This is one of the most solid IEMs that I've held in my hand at any price. But yeah, they sound not that good. And this is, if you know this IEM, you probably don't know if you watch the English version. Some people who watch the Indonesian version might know, because this is actually a locally made IEM. It's the Earstudio Sinom. This is made out of wood. I think this is actually legit wood. It sounds okay. This sounds okay. It's a bit peaky at the treble region, but overall it sounds V-shaped and sounds okay. I wouldn't say that this sounds utterly crap and useless, but it sounds bad. It's just it sounds averagely bad. Though it's more of an okay than terrible, if you get what I mean. So yeah, it's usable. However, they do have a bit of driver flex issues, although they are vented. I don't think this vent is sufficient enough to prevent a driver flex. The build is unique, definitely. It's made out of wood, and yeah, I don't think this is metal. I think this is wood and plastic. Yeah, it's a local IEM. It's made out of wood, so it's unique. And if your eyes are sharp enough, you would notice that these two are actually earbuds and not IEMs. And these are one of those earbuds that I personally own, because I don't own a lot of earbuds. These two are one of the most budget earbuds that I can get out there. Not the most, but one of the more budget earbuds. This is a Vito. This is one of the legendary earbuds that exist in my country, definitely. You might have heard about them. A lot of online forums on Facebook talk about the Vitos quite a lot. And this is the Moondrop Hiroyuki. Moondrop actually make a lot of earbuds, but they usually don't. Not a lot of people actually talk about the earbuds. The main and the only reason I bought earbuds for the Vitos, I think it's most of it's going to be how cheap they are. They are $2. Yeah, I think they are $2, and the Hiroyuki is about $10, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, both of them are very, very cheap. And the only reason that I bought these two and not the more premium sounding earbuds is because the ceiling for earbuds are very, very low. It's the thing about okay, so there are a lot of people comparing headphones and IEMs, but at least the majority would consider the differences between the sound of the headphones and IEMs. One of the differences actually is IEMs have a lower ceiling than headphones, so you can absolutely have good sound quality with IEMs, but at a certain price, headphones would sound a lot better. And there are arguments on when headphones can outrun IEMs. Some of them just plain out say that there are no way IEMs can sound better than headphones. Some might say under $1,000 IEMs are still better than headphones. But there are debates on where the price lies there, on the where headphones starting to outperform IEMs. And in my opinion, earbuds such as the Vito here is, I think it's going to be better than a lot of IEMs at the Vito price. But when I start talking about the Hiroyuki type of price, you do have a lot of IEMs there that sounds better than these, or like a lot of earbuds at this price. For example, the TI-N MT1s, the MH755 is going to be better. So yeah, the ceiling of the earbuds are very low. The only reason of why you're going to buy, or you're looking to buy earbuds, is, in my opinion, only two, I guess. The one is comfort, because these things are very comfortable. You can literally sleep with them and you feel nothing. Especially the smaller ones like the Hiroyuki. The bigger ones like the Vito might get uncomfortable when wearing them in a longer period of time. But some people just can't use IEMs, and they are far more comfortable with earbuds than IEMs. But the second reason is probably soundstage, because these things are open back. Although the imaging is crap, the imaging is also crap, but the soundstage here is definitely wider than a lot of IEMs, because these are not fully sealed and you have that open back type of nature with them. And yeah, in terms of detail, in terms of tonal balance, in terms of overall sound quality, I don't think you can have, and especially consistency, because earbuds, if you change even the slightest orientation, it will get like imbalance, especially if you move a lot when wearing them. And the sound changes every time you change their placement in your ear, so it's not very consistent too. So the only reason that you're going to the earbuds instead of IEMs is just comfort and soundstage. Even then, something like the Z1R or the Blessing 2s or the a lot of more high-end, or even the 10T2s would have equal, if not wider, soundstage than almost all earbuds in existence. So yeah, that's the thing about earbuds. Every time I wear earbuds, it's just, in my opinion, at a certain price, it's going to be disappointing. And I think that price is going to be $10. It's being overly harsh for a lot of earbud guys here, but that's just simply how it is, and I can't sugarcoat it. Yeah. But these two, I wear them a lot. The video is now broken for some fucking reason. The Hiroyuki is sticky. The cable's sticky now, so I can't use them. But I use them quite a fair amount when they are both usable. Okay, so the next is going to be the Xiaomi Piston. This is one of the, I guess, one of my first IEMs that I've bought. The Xiaomi Piston is... Okay, just let me start with the story time now. And we are going to talk more about not these, but these IEMs right now. And these IEMs have a story to tell. Although my first IEM, actually my first real IEM, a real audiophile IEM, is actually not here. It's the Brainwaves B400, if I'm not mistaken. It's this small, the tiny Brainwaves IEM with the shell looking like this. A very small Brainwaves IEM. It's around $30, if I'm not mistaken. It's about like $25 to $30. That's my first IEMs. My mother actually bought me those when I was like 15, 14, 13. At that, around that age, actually, she bought me those. But I unfortunately lost it somewhere. I still haven't found that one. And my second IEM is also not here. It's the ATH Audio-Technica IM50. It was, yeah, of course, my mom bought that for me too. And it was when I was about 16, if I'm not mistaken, when I was in high school. Yeah. But that one got run over. Got ran over by a car, so it's not here anymore. And after those two, I actually just stopped buying IEMs. I thought, like, obviously I can't handle more expensive things. I can't handle good things, so I just don't buy expensive IEMs. I just started looking for very cheap over-the-counter, like, crap IEMs. And then I just ran across the Pistons, and it's an $8 IEM. It's a $6 to $8 IEM, I guess. It's about that price. And for over-the-counter stuff IEMs, it sounds fairly nice, especially for that price. It sounds good. So yeah, I just start buying these, like a lot of these, because I keep losing them. I kept losing them, so every time I lost them, it's just, oh yeah, it's just $6 to $8. I can just buy another one. So yeah, I think this is the third or the fourth Piston that I have. I kind of forgot. Oh yeah, and around that time, around the third or the fourth Pistons, I stopped buying them because I started to lose interest in earphones on IEMs. I used to call them earphones. A lot of I still call them earphones now, so yeah. And then I went to the great country America. It's quite a enjoyable experience there. When I was older then when I visited America. I think I was about 18. Yeah, I was about 17 or 18 when I visit America. Yeah, when I was 16 or 18, 17 or 18. So in America, I actually bought an earbud with ear hooks from the brand Jabra, if I'm not mistaken, and it sounds horrible. It sounds terrifyingly terrible. Oh, and it actually sparked something within me. It sparked the necessity for me to throw that shit away. And I actually bought something else in the airport. So when I'm flying back home, when I was flying back home, in the airport, I actually bought these. This is the RHA MH750, I think. MA750. MA750, I think. It's their name. Yeah, I think it's MA750. So this is, oh no, it's the MA390. It's the MA390. Yeah, I guess that's the one. So I actually bought these to replace my Jabra. So after I bought these, after I tried these, they just reopened my mind. Actually, they sound fantastic. They sound clear. They sound beautiful. They just sound beautiful. They sound amazing. Now they sound like crap. Obviously, they sound like crap. These are just bass cannons. They do nothing but bass, but they used to sound amazing when I listened to them after I listened to the Jabras. So it re-sparked my interest with IEMs. It's something new, definitely. It's something unique. It's something new. It's something nostalgic almost. It's something that pushed me back in this hobby. Actually, maybe it's not the correct term. I guess it's something that sparked me to enjoy audio. Yeah, I guess that's a better way to saying that. And yeah, so I listened to them a lot. It is actually not the exact pair. Actually, we bought these because a few months after I returned home, I lost them again. Yeah. And after losing these, I just reused my old pistons that I have laying at home and thinking of, these sound decent enough, so yeah, I guess I'll just reuse them. And a few months after that, I bought the Sony XB510. This is my first Sony IEM. I'm obviously now a huge fan of Sony, especially being like my two most favorite IEMs are Sony's. I can't say the same for the headphones though, although Sony actually make quite good headphones, used to make quite good headphones. I just bought one actually, and it's all tangled and shit. It's this, if you're familiar, it's the Sony MA900, and it's an old pair of Sony. I think it's about 10 years old. It's an old pair of Sony headphones. Although these are very, very well tuned and they sound very, very good. So I don't know what happened to Sony, honestly. Like, they used to can produce something as marvelous as these, and now they can't tune for shit. for their headphones, mostly, but the IEMs are much better now than the XBA lineup. So yeah, with this, it sounds awfully bassy. It sounds bloated. It sounds boomy in the bass. However, the mid-range in the treble is actually quite pleasant here. Even comparing them to a lot of the KZs, the mids and trebles actually sound good. I listened to a few tracks just prior from recording this video, and I listened to a lot of genres also, and it sounds decent, I guess, for the price I got. I got them for about like $20 to $25 from the official Sony retailer. And yeah, and what's special with this IEM is when I bought these, the moment I bought these, oh, actually not the moment that I bought these, like at the day that I bought these, I actually listened to a flagship Sony IEM at the same store. So I demoed, I don't know if it's the Z1R or the M9s, IEM M9s, either those two, and I just mind blown by how good that thing sounded. And it made me want to have a Sony flagship, so accomplished that mission. And it was mind-blowing because how something so little can sound so amazing, and how it's so expensive too. It's I think it was about $2,000 when I $2,000. So it might be the Z1R. So yeah, I was mind boggled at how good that sounds like, but I never would have imagined actually purchasing one because of how expensive it was, until obviously now I somehow can manage to bought one of these. And yeah, so I listened to the XP510, and it's the most balanced out of the bunch, so I bought these. Although I do have somewhat of a new drive, although I don't imagine actually purchasing one, that I really want to buy one when I have the money, the means to do it. And yeah, I had these like as the only IEM as a daily driver for quite a long time. And the thing about Sony's, even at this price range, the very very cheap price, they do have a good soundstage. I think soundstage is one of the more it's one of the signature of Sony headphones and IEMs, because a lot of them have very wide soundstage. Even the MA900s, those are known to have very wide soundstage. The EX1000 also, and the Z1R also, and these have decent amount of soundstage in my opinion. It's a bit wider than average than I would have expected, actually, even now. So yeah, these went through a lot. I actually dropped these in the swimming pool once. I actually washed I actually accidentally washed these in the washing machine like 3 times. But these are still working, and they work very well. So it's the beginning of me trusting Sony for their build quality. And yeah, so after these I bought my first actual headphone, it's the M40X, Audio-Technica M40X, using my own money. And yeah, I actually bought these with my own money too. I bought a lot of these with my own money too. So yeah, actually bought the M40Xs, and I was like sold on headphones being superior than IEMs. But all that changed. Actually, before that, I actually bought the ZS10 Pros. It's when I bought the headphones, like the M40Xs, and I also have like a few other headphones that's weird and obscure that I'm going to probably talk about later in the headphone video. After a while, after owning the M40Xs, I bought the ZS10 Pros. And if you've watched my videos of low budget IEMs, I used to really enjoy the ZS10 Pros. It's one of those IEMs that I actually considered to be impeccably excellent. Oh man. These was very good when I never listened to I can't say that I've never listened to a higher end IEM. I've listened to Z1R, but I've never owned a higher end IEMs, or at least a very well tuned ones. But having the ZS10 Pros with those BA drivers, with those, oh my god, crispy highs, that extremely exciting bass, I was struck by how peculiar these things sound and how exciting these things sound. And I said, wow, this thing is very exciting. Like these hi-fis are very exciting. So I actually bought a couple of the hi-fis, and I bought the Tinty Freeze, and after hearing the Tinty Freeze, these don't sound as good as when I haven't bought the Tinty Freeze. And after that I bought the TFZ's My Love Edition, and I lost it. And I lost it again, and yeah, I think that one's stolen. I have no idea. I actually put it in a bag once and it's just gone. Suddenly. Poof, gone. But I still can't put the ZS10 Pros over something like the Audio-Technica M40X that I've owned, and I still consider headphones superior to IEMs, even when I've had the excellent ZS10 Pros. Oh my god, holy shit. And it sounds, and headphones still sounds better than IEMs in my book. And I actually held that belief for quite some time. But you still need to note that I owned the Hi-Fi-Man 4XX when I still held that belief of headphones being obviously superior, and the IEMs that I own are only limited to the Shure tapes or the BGV PDM6. So yeah, but then I bought these. So the Sony EX1000, it's an IEM that really changed my mind about IEMs. It's when I first listened to these, it sound horrible. It sounds, no, it's actually not the first time I listened to it. I actually listened to the EX1000 prior from buying them. Actually, Jason owned one, so I listened to Jason's pair in a not very ideal environment, using a not very ideal soundtrack, songs or tracks. And it sounds okay to me, it sounds good to me. And when I actually bought one and I listened to it in an ideal environment, it just sounds weird, it sounds wrong, it sounds not right, it sounds imbalanced. It sounds like the left channel is louder than the right channel. So I contacted the seller about the IEMs being imbalanced, like the left one is wider than is louder than the right one, and he was like, "No, are they?" He didn't believe that the IEMs he sold me was imbalanced. So I decided to give it a couple more days, try it a bit more, and I realized that the EX1000 was not imbalanced, but they are simply insane at imaging. They are simply so good at imaging that the slightest movement of the vocals to the left or to the right just is very noticeable. So I have this one track that I've been playing. I think it's from Ariana Grande. It's the vocals of Ariana. I always thought it's going to be in the middle, but for that particular track, she sings a bit on the left, and I never noticed it, even when I used the 4XX. But when I listen to the EX1000, it's so fucking clear. And it's actually pretty unique because not a lot of IEMs have good imaging, like at all. Like I had the Starfields before I bought the EX1000. Actually, I don't have the Starfield, but I've listened and compared to the Starfields. As what I've mentioned before, I also got the DM6 and the Shure tapes. The M6 is okay at imaging, but this thing is so fucking good that I just noticed everything, and it sounds weird too. It sounds very fused to the background. It sounds so empty, like the background is it's just empty air, it's empty space. It's mind-blowing in my opinion. It's just simply mind-blowing. The EX1000 sounded horribly mind-blowing. But after that, after noticing the impeccable imaging here and the way that they present their soundstage, it opened my mind that these sound better than the 4XX. And I bought these actually when I was still a broke college student. I'm obviously still a college student now, but I'm not as broke as I was. So I bought these. I should ask the seller if I can pay twice for these. Like, I can pay half the price and next month I pay the rest. Yeah, and he was kind enough to allow that. And I'm very grateful to him. And I still contacted him until now to talk about IEMs and headphones a few times. And yeah, these just opened my mind to something new, a new potential, and that's the point of, that's a turning point for me of considering IEMs to be a contender to headphones. But after years and years of, not years and years, yeah, I think it's 2 years, so years and years, yeah, year and year of listening to a lot of IEMs and not as much headphones. I started to become the IEM guy after listening to the EX1000. Yeah, I wasted hundreds and hundreds of dollars buying adapters, buying cables, buying ear tips for these just to return to the Sony hybrid ear tips. And yeah, I bought a lot of things for these, and I really love these. And it's the most influential IEM that I have in my collection. So this is somewhat of an alpha. It's like the beginning, the genesis of me really loving IEMs. This is the Sony EX1000. It's so fucking technical. It's so fucking detailed. It's so good. It's so fucking good. The bass here is insane. I never listened to excellent bass like these can produce when I first bought one. And then a few years after that, I'm starting to consider buying a flagship IEM. I'm still consider buying the Z1R. Actually, this is one of the flagship IEMs that I consider buying. There are also a few other choices like the U12T or the TIA Trio or the other IEMs out there. I tried over 40-50 different IEMs, different flagship level IEMs, and the Z1R and the U12T is definitely the two most impressive IEMs that I bought, that I've tried, that I've demoed. But I ended up purchasing the Z1R. And to be completely honest, I do have biases over Sony. So one of the factors, I guess, one of the factors of me actually picking the Z1R over the U12T is going to be the Sony. But it's not the biggest factor. The biggest factor is definitely going to be the sound. Because when I listened to the Z1R, I actually noticed the EX1000 there. So it's somewhat of a nostalgic feeling of listening to a beloved IEM. When I listen to the Z1R, it somehow sounds, it has the type of timbre, somewhat of a distinct nuanced timbre that made me feel like this sound like the EX1000. Although it when you listen to both of these, like AB one of these sound nothing alike. These are tuned nothing alike. But when I listen to the Z1R, it reminds me of the EX1000. And when I actually looked it up, like, they do have the same diaphragm for the dynamic drivers. And yeah, I guess that's how Sony just make their house sound timbre. And it pulled me to the Z1R so much that I just instantly want it. And it is also helped by their amazing soundstage, laser sharp imaging. They're not the most detailed, or the U12T is a bit more detailed, but their impeccable treble performance is something else. It's never. I've never listened to anything like it. I actually prefer the treble here more than the U12T, and it's by quite a lot actually, because the treble in the U12T is a bit too much, especially at the upper treble for me. Here's just perfect. And yeah, but after listening to a lot of IEMs, a lot of flagship level IEMs, and after noting, after knowing, and after buying the best of the lot, or the best actually for my preference, or like the best for me of the lot. I've never tried the Odin. The Odin was released after I bought the Z1R, so can't really say that much for the Odin. After buying the Z1R, I started comparing these to the headphones that I bought before, the Arias, one of them, and the LCD-X, and also the HG800 after. And I noticed, although this is fantastic sounding, it's impeccable sounding, it can't beat the headphones. Sadly, it can't. It just can't. So the Z1R is just the and that be the Z1R is more expensive than a lot of my headphones. And yeah, the Z1R just still can't beat the Aria overall. Can't beat my HG800 in terms of technical performance, definitely not. And yeah, so it kind of shifts me back to have the opinion that headphones is just superior. Because I actually bought these for very cheap. It's like I bought these for $250, I guess, around that price. Or $180. Yeah, I think it's $180. Even the most flagship IEMs can't beat the Aria, which is less resolving than the HG800, which is less resolving than a lot of other flagship headphones out there. And yeah, it just becomes the end of the story for me. It's just the end of the... It's a revelation. It's the Omega. It's the end of the story for my IEM journey. The conclusion. I don't know if in the future there would be an IEM that would outperform a lot of the open back headphones, but I would bet the open back headphones in the future would be much better than now. And yeah, so I guess that's it. The X1000 was my beginning. It's what opened me into what IEMs can actually do. And Z1R is the revelation. It's the omega. It's the ending to my story. I guess, and that's it for the video. It's a long. I told you it's a long one, and I hope you enjoyed this story a little bit. The little story time. And I would like to apologize for being not very coherent with this video. Yeah, so I guess that's that. See you next time. Godspeed.